mountain friends, are y'all ready for some pie? Are you ready for a chocolate pecan pie? And even better, this pie is going to be sugar-free. It's going to be a low carb, and it's suitable for diabetics. It's suitable for anybody who's trying to watch their carbs, or you want to eat some dessert every now and then and you kind of don't want to overdo it. Then here's the perfect dessert for you to try. And it's so good. I love pecans, I love chocolate, I love pecan pie, I love chocolate pecan pie, but a lot of them are loaded with a lot of sugar. And so if you're wanting to have a healthier dessert, a little bit better for you, then look no further. Here you go. So get a pen and paper handy. You can write down the measurements. I'm fixing to call them off to you, so you can write this down, and you can always pause the video too. So for the crust, you're going to need 2 2/3 cup of almond flour, 2 teaspoons of coconut flour. You can get both of those at Walmart. You can just, they're right where the flowers are. You can always see that. These are lower carb versions, and they're gluten-free versions too, if you're kind of into that, if you need to be gluten-free. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of melted butter and 2 tablespoons of monk fruit sweetener for the crust. I like monk fruit. That's what I'm going to be using in this pie. For the filling, you're going to need 12 tablespoons of softened butter. Now, all this butter that I'm using is unsalted, by the way. You're going to need 2 cups of monk fruit sweetener. I prefer monk fruit because I think it tastes better. You can get that at Walmart too. Monk fruit is M-O-N-K. I like it because I think when you're baking, it tastes the best. For me, it's what I prefer. You can get it at Walmart, Amazon. Just look it up. Monk fruit sweetener is very popular. You're going to need 2 ounces of heavy whipping cream, 2 eggs at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of molasses. Yep, this has molasses in it. And it really won't affect the sweetener much because there's only 2 teaspoons. It just kind of helps the flavor, because in traditional pecan pie, you have dark K-Rose syrup. Yep. So this kind of is going to take the place of the K-Rose syrup in a traditional pie, like chocolate pie or chocolate pecan pie is what I'm trying to say. And you're going to need a cup of chopped pecans, and I am just happy and tickled that I'm using Priesters. I'm using their medium pieces, and I'm going to be putting their link where you can order their delicious pecans. They're so good. These are the medium pieces that I am using in this recipe. I'd rather get the pieces, and I've chopped pecans before, and it can be a little work, so it's more convenient if you can just buy the pieces and have them handy for your recipes like I'm using today. So yes, I am using Priester's medium pieces. They're so good. I can just eat them right out of the bag. And you're going to need a cup, last but not least, a cup of sugar-free chocolate chips. You can get sugar-free chocolate chips just about anywhere. Walmart has them. There's different brands. But I am using a cup of sugar-free dark chocolate chips. This is the kind that I get. I get them in a big sack like this at Costco because I bake a lot, and I get the bigger ones. But I have actually seen this brand at Walmart too. It's called Bake Believe, and that's what I'm using. No sugar added, and I think they even sweeten them with a little stevia. So, and these are good. I use them a lot in my baking recipes. So that's it. Let's get started. Now for the crust, you're going to make this first. You want to preheat your oven to 350 because you're going to bake this crust for about 10 minutes. You need about a 9-inch buttered pie plate like this right here, pie pan, dish, not pan, it's a dish. And I'm just going to take, this is my almond flour, my coconut flour, and my sweetener. And I'm just going to take my fork and toss it together, and I'm just going to add my melted butter to this. I'm going to mix this together, and I'm going to press it down into my pie dish. So I'm just going to mix that, and when we come back, I'll put it in the pie dish. So you're just going to put that out in your dish, and you're just going to press it down just like you would if you were doing a graham cracker crust or something. I don't know if you've made them before. Press it down really well. And the reason you're going to bake this, because you want it to kind of brown up a little bit first. And take your fingers, go all the way around the edges, push it up around the sides. Press it right in there. All the way. Take your pie and press it up against it. Press it down. That way, you don't want it too thick on the bottom either, but you want it to come up the sides. And this pie will be chilled, by the way, after you make it and bake it. If you keep it chilled, it also keeps this crust from crumbling on you. I mean, because you got to take in mind, this is a low carb. This is not like a traditional graham cracker crust or regular pie crust. So, you know, you kind of got to do some trade-offs sometimes. Sometimes when you're doing a sugar-free or a low-carb dessert, I mean, it's not going to taste like the regular always, but it is going to be good. But if you don't want your crust to be crumbly, you definitely want to keep this chilled, by the way. So I just poke a few holes in the bottom. Just a few. Now I'm going to put this in the oven for about 10 minutes while I'm making the filling. So while the crust is baking, I'm going to start on the filling part for this pie. And this is the softened butter that I'm putting in my mixing bowl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cream this butter with my sweetener. Throw this away. Y'all, what is your favorite pie? I would like to know. Pecan is one of my favorites. Chocolate pecan is one of my favorites. I'm not a big fruit pie person. I'd rather have like a chocolate pie or a pecan pie. I do like key lime pie, but I'm not a big fruit pie person. But I prefer those. I prefer like creamy pies, or like this kind of pie is my favorite. So let me know what your favorite is. And so I'm going to I got my butter in there. Here goes my sweetener. And I'm just going to whip this up with a paddle attachment on my mixer. You can use a hand mixer if you want. And I'm just going to fluff this up. I'm going to add my vanilla too, by the way. Another good variation you could do for this pie, instead of vanilla extract, you could use bourbon. You can make this a bourbon chocolate pecan pie. Would be so good. You can do that as well. It would be good. You can actually do maple if you wanted. There's a lot of different things you could do. So I'm going to fluff this up. I'm going to let this go for about another minute or two. Let it get nice and fluffy. Now I'm going to add the eggs. The heavy cream, and the molasses. Now on slow speed, I'm adding in my chocolate chips and my pecans. I'm just going to combine it. Alright, now the crust has been baked for 10 minutes and it's good and hot, and the filling is ready. Now this filling will be thick, so it's okay, and it may separate. You may have like you may see some like juice in it or whatever. Just stir it, it's okay. But just stir it, and like I said, it's thick. It kind of looks like a cookie dough almost. You're just gonna pour it right in your pie dish, straight in there. This is going to bake for about 40 to 45 minutes until it's not really jiggly, and your chocolate chips will start to melt too. Now, a lot of people may ask, this is a low carb pie. So if you don't have to worry about your sugar intake and you don't want to do low carb, this is really exclusively, a lot of people may ask, can I use regular sugar? I would have no clue for this recipe because it is a low carb, exclusively low carb pie, chocolate pecan pie recipe, because traditional chocolate pecan pie has a lot of Karo syrup in it and has a lot more eggs too. So if you want to make a pie that is, you know, not sugar-free, you can maybe look up your recipe. But I'll probably be making one of those pretty soon too, because they are one of my favorite pies. Now, growing up in the mountains of Southeast Kentucky, I grew up in a place called Tan Yard Holler, and we didn't get, these are like fancy pies, like pecan pie, that kind of thing. It's fancy pies to us. It was always fancy pies to us. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a pecan pie until I was probably older, like probably late teens, maybe early 20s, when my mama baked pies. My mom didn't really bake a lot, but the only pies we got growing up were like butterscotch pie, chocolate pie, you know, homemade custard pies, that kind of thing. And maybe some apple pie occasionally, because we had a June apple tree in my mama and papa's yard. But that's about it. But these kind of pies, we never even had. We didn't even know there was such a thing. So this is going to go in the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes until it's not jiggly anymore. And you're going to see it turn a little darker because those chocolate chips are going to melt. So in it goes, and can't wait to eat this, guys. Look at that, y'all. Okay, I baked mine for right at 40 minutes, and I'm gonna let it cool completely, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours before we slice into it. All right, look at that pie, y'all.
Check this out, guys.
Good.
Look at that.
These delicious Priester's pecans. Yeah. Daddy loves them pecans.
I do.
They're delicious.
I eat the pecans by themselves. I'm addicted to them.
They're good.
Thank you, Lord, for this food. Or this pie.
For this pie.
What is this called again?
It's a chocolate pecan pie, and it's sugar-free, baby. So what do you think? Daddy loves chocolate. He loves
I do.
Pecans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, ain't it?
It's very good.
I think it looks like one of them chocolate chip cookie pies.
It does.
And it
kind of tastes like a chocolate chip cookie. It's very good.
I mean, you can see that chocolate melting, it got that good feeling inside.
It does.
Taste them pecans.
Look at them pecans, yeah.
A little crunch.
Them pecans, y'all. These things are heaven. They're fresh and
yeah, they're fresh. They're not rubbery, like you said. A lot of other pecans you get are rubbery, and you're still going to pay a good amount for them, but hey, why not get some good ones?
You won't go wrong with these, I promise.
Yeah, they're delicious.
I wish I didn't eat them like I did, because I crush them. But this is good, guys. You ought to try it. It is really good.
Yeah, it is good. And pecans are actually a healthy snack, by the way. So if you need a good healthy snack, they're diabetic friendly, all that. So I don't know if anybody realizes that, but pecans, walnuts, all that stuff is very good for you to snack on.
Yeah.
And we love this.
I actually take a bag to work, zip on bag.
Yeah, he snacks on them at work. So y'all look at this pie. I cut into it. So just give you a good look at how this pie is. It's delicious. 10 out of 10?
Yes,
10
ma'am.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
All right, y'all. Hope you try it. Thank you for watching Mountain Cooking with Missy and my taste tester, Mr. Daddy here.
Mr. Daddy?
Yeah, Mr. Daddy. And I will be dropping the link for Priester's pecans so you can give them a try, y'all. Check them out. They're good.
They are good, guys. You won't be disappointed, I promise.
Nothing fancy.
Good eating.
Just good eating.
Bye, guys.
Bye.